my friends, and welcome to Practice English with Paul. Today it is the ultimate video, especially for you. So many of you sent me messages on Facebook and for Contactia as well, how to improve your spoken English. I didn't get some messages, I got thousands of messages. That's why I have decided to make this video for you guys, to give you some information. I am a linguist. I studied German at university, so I had to learn how to improve my spoken German. I tried many different methods, so that's why I feel my advice is useful, because it's personal. As well as that, I am an experienced teacher and I have tried many other methods, which some have worked and some have not, and I've tried to find the right method to help all students improve their spoken English. I have looked online at some advice from websites. Some of it was, forget it, but some was okay, but I've decided to really use my own experience to help you here. We're going to look at some basic ideas to improve your spoken English, and then we're going to look at practical ideas. For example, native speakers, friends, reading, listening, etc, etc. Okay, so hopefully after this lesson I will make a difference to your spoken English, but you must follow my advice. Okay, let's have a look here. Now the first concept you need to understand is this: don't be afraid of making mistakes. Don't worry about making mistakes. You will make mistakes. It takes a long time to become fluent. Years and years and years. You know, I remember when I was living in Germany for some time, I had a friend, an English friend I was living with, and it was very interesting to sort of learn German with this guy, because I wanted to be correct all the time, and he didn't care so much about being correct. He just spoke, but he made more mistakes than I did. But his German improved quicker than mine. I saw this. I understood it, because he was opening his mouth and using it more. I wasn't. So I changed my strategy and I thought, oh, forget it, just speak it. And my German went like this. I think it did. Maybe some German friends back then disagree. So, you know, the other idea with, you know, don't be afraid of making mistakes, is don't expect to be perfect. Now, when people try to be perfect, they say, I want to speak perfect English. My friends, I don't want to sound negative here. I'm realistic. There's a big difference. You will not speak perfect English in a few months. It takes years. And I don't believe in perfection. I believe in getting to a really, really high level. Because if you're perfect, and you have this idea that, you know, you're perfect or you want to be perfect, if you make mistakes, it will kill your confidence and you will go back down there. So you need to sort of be realistic and understand, you know, I don't want to be perfect, but I want to be the best I can be. That's better. That is much better attitude to have. Being confident, if you are confident, so feeling strong and positive about yourself, don't be negative about your spoken English. Don't care about mistakes. Be confident and speak. So you can write messages to me, or if you know some native speakers, just speak. If you are on holiday, talk to people. If you are in a bar, talk to people. Just go and meet people. Practice. You need that practice. It is very, very important. Keeping your mouth closed will not help you. You have to get into that situation. So be strong, be confident. That's what I tell my students when they join my classes. The very first thing, don't care what people think. Just care about yourself so that you can practice. Now, the next point, seize every opportunity. That means if you see or have the chance to practice your English, do it. If you have the chance to meet a native speaker, practice. If you have the chance to join a local speaking club, do it. If you really, really want to speak English and improve your spoken English, you need to take those chances. Okay, you need to throw yourself into those situations. And I will in a minute explain how to use natives, other people and other strategies to improve your spoken English. I saw a lot of this online. A lot of people say, think in English. Now, I don't know about you, but I am very skeptical about this. Because some people say, oh, I've been learning English for 2 months and I can think in English. I'm like, what, really? When you say think in English, do you mean that every thought you have is in English? You dream in English? If yes, I don't believe you. I think to be able to think in another language, it takes years. It takes a lot of practice, a huge amount. Maybe if you're a natural linguist, maybe you can think in English earlier. But people who say to me that they can think in another language after 6 months, no, I don't believe it. If you do, congratulations. So a lot of people give this advice, don't believe it, because when you are at sort of lower level, it's very difficult to throw yourself into the English sort of mindset. You always try to, when you learn English, you always try to understand it in your own language to find the comparison. It takes a long time to separate that. Usually at advanced level, people just sort of break from their language and just learn English, like the idioms, and don't look for translations so much. But still, many people do. Now, active or passive, if you know your grammar, there is grammar called active and passive, but not here. Active language and passive language. Passive language is your listening and your reading, because you receive the language. Your brain doesn't need to formulate it so much. But to improve your spoken English, you need to be active. Your brain must work to formulate the language. That way you will get better and better and better. Being passive doesn't help so much. You have to use it. Just like I said here, throw yourself into the situation. Seize every opportunity. Now, we have some basics here. Now I'm going to explain like about natives, partners and other strategies to help improve your spoken English. Okay, let's move on. So my friends, welcome back. Let's have a look at using native speakers for improving your spoken English. Now, we need to be careful here, because when we talk about a native speaker, are we talking about a teacher or a non-teacher? There's a big difference. What is your plan? What is your aim? Do you want to learn English or just practice? I think most people really want to learn. Now, if you want to find a native speaker teacher, I have to say the teacher will not be for free, okay? Because a lot of people want to study with a teacher, so therefore the teacher will have a price, and you need to understand that. Even on Skype, I don't think many native speaker teachers will do it for free. So if that's not the case, if you don't want to spend money, you know, maybe you can go to like make some online friends in some online chat rooms, or Messenger or Facebook or something like this. If you're able to practice regularly with a partner, that's fantastic. I think sometimes language exchange is a good way. So you learn English and maybe you teach some German, or you teach Arabic, or you teach French, it doesn't matter. Okay, but be careful with native speakers who are not teachers. You know, they don't really know grammar so well. They cannot tell you what is correct English and what is not. They know what sounds right, but they can't tell you why. Again, the native speaker teacher can, but you must pay for it. So that's why these online friends are good for practice. I know some students who practice their English playing games online, like Counter-Strike or whatever, and you know, that way they practice their English. They don't learn so many new words or expressions. It's just like some language for that game, but it's still better than nothing. Go to an English-speaking country. Well, my friends, if you have that chance to go to an English-speaking country, that's fantastic. Go to England, go to America, Australia, New Zealand, South Africa, doesn't matter. You can go to Europe, you can find lots of native speakers there. I suggest, if you really want to speak English, if you are in Europe or wherever, there are so many Irish bars where native speakers always go. Go to the Irish bar and just start talking to native speakers. Be confident, remember. Just say, hello, I'm from Algeria, and people will start speaking to you because we're very friendly, most of us. So yes, going beyond that, you can also do some courses, maybe in your local country, in your local town or city. You have some language schools with native speakers. If not, we'll go to the next plan. But a lot of countries have lots of native speakers working as teachers. Again, you will need to pay for it. Okay. Again, I don't know of many native speakers that teach English professionally for free. Okay. Now, I think that's clear. So if you have the chance to pay for a native speaker, do it. You'll have the best practice, especially with a professional teacher. Again, if you can meet some friends online and speak to them, wonderful, fantastic. It's really the best way to have that real active speaking practice. It's better than everything, okay? Because you must formulate the English yourself. So we'll have a look at Plan B now. Plan B is if you don't have the chance of practicing with a native speaker. Okay, let's have a look. So welcome back. Let's have a look at what to do if you don't have the chance of speaking with a native speaker. Again, the most obvious way is make friends where you live. Go and make friends with people. Maybe you have some friends from your university days or your school days and all of you want to speak English. Practice together. You know, just get together, minimum 1 hour a week. Just practice speaking English to each other. It's better than nothing. And also you're using that, you know, that active language that you need to do to improve your spoken English. All that new vocabulary, all that new grammar, you need to use it. So even with your friends, you will improve your spoken English. There are lots of local social groups in towns and cities around the world. Here in Moscow, there are conversation clubs. There's quite a few conversation clubs. Maybe in your city or say town, find a local social group, usually in a bar or a cafe or whatever. Go there and just speak English. Just make some friends, meet once a week and speak English with them. As I keep saying, it's better than nothing. Okay? There's a lot of online social groups as well. So if you don't have the chance to meet people in your town, or there aren't any social groups in your town, you can find social groups online. And again, if you can't meet the native speaker, you can practice speaking English with other people from your country or from other people around the world. Make friends with people outside your country because you will need to speak English. Okay, it's not with a native, but it is still fantastic practice because maybe one of you is slightly better and you can help each other and give advice. It's still a fantastic way to learn. That's called like peer learning. It is a really good method. Okay, if you travel, speak English. Like I've said before, if you go on holiday to, let's say, Malaysia, for example, lots of people in Malaysia speak English. I was there. Their English is actually pretty good. Maybe you're from, let's say, Algeria, you go to Malaysia, you're going to have to speak in English. Speak English when you can. Go to the cafes, go to the restaurants, go on excursions, go to bars, speak to people, speak in English. Be confident, make yourself do it. Okay? It's the best piece of advice I can give. Throw yourself into that situation. Don't be like I was when I started learning German. I tried to be perfect. I was scared of making mistakes. I kept my mouth shut, like, because I was worried, I was scared. Don't do that. Go abroad, travel, speak English when you can. If you meet me abroad, I can promise I'd happily speak English to you and help you practice. I hope a lot of other native speakers are like that too, as well as non-native speakers. So we've dealt with talking to native and non-natives. Okay. Now, what can happen if you don't have chances to actually practice your spoken English at all? Can you actually improve your spoken English without speaking to a native or non-native? The answer is yes, you can. Okay, there's always a way. Some are more effective than others. Of course, the best way is to speak with a native and then non-native. But now I will show you some fantastic ways if you don't have that chance. Okay, and you need to follow my advice very carefully. Let's have a look. So my friends, let's have a look at what to do if you don't have the chance to speak with a native or even a non-native. So you don't have the chance to speak to anyone. What can you do? Now, let's have a look at my famous plan B. If you follow this, it will help. Now, read a lot. Of course, reading is a fantastic way to improve your English because you're learning vocab, you're learning grammar, you're practicing it, you're seeing it again and again, and the more you read, the bigger the database in your head becomes, and maybe when you start speaking, structures will automatically come. However, there is a way to really help your spoken English by reading. Sometimes read aloud. So when you're reading a book, don't read it just in your head, but actually read it aloud. Because if you read aloud, you can hear yourself and you will hear your mistakes better and you can correct yourself. Also, what you can do is you can buy some books that come with an audio CD. So you can actually listen and follow that as well. That comes to my next point. So sometimes try to read aloud to yourself because, you know, it's still active language. You're still trying to speak. You're still trying to do something, okay, although you are reading. Listen and repeat. Now, what that means is that imagine you are watching a film on YouTube or you're listening to the audio CD, which goes with a book. You can pause it once you've listened and then repeat what they've just said. So imagine if you take 10 minutes of film, and I've done this with a few classes. It's hard, but it does work. You need to find the right level. That's why I'm going to recommend textbooks. If you watch, say, 10 minutes of a film or maybe 3 minutes of an audio CD from a textbook, listen to a sentence, pause it and repeat, okay? Sometimes when I was practicing my German, I would watch some, actually I still do this, I maybe will watch some documentary on YouTube and I'm trying to not listen passively, which is still fine, but I want to actively use my English. My German. So I pause it, repeat the sentence, play again. Pause it, repeat the sentence. That way it helps with your intonation and you can actually learn a lot of new vocab this way as well. It is really, really effective. Okay, because again, you're actively using it. I say with a textbook, the difference between the textbook and the film, if your English is a bit lower level, if you buy a textbook, Cutting Edge, New English File, there are so many. When you listen to the audio CDs to practice listening, also sometimes listen to them, but again, stop, repeat, and then stop, repeat, stop, repeat. Okay? It's a fantastic way to practice your spoken English. If you are really upper intermediate and above, so, you know, advanced level, I think it's a good idea to actually stop and repeat, you know, by watching films because it's kind of real English and you should be at that level to be able to do it. Maybe if you're pre-intermediate, it's not a good idea. It will be too advanced for you. Just give it some time before you get there. Surround yourself. So, you know, just surround yourself in English all around you. For example, play music in English. Again, sometimes stop and repeat if you want to, but not always. It gets a bit boring. Just listen to music. I've known students who have the radio playing in the background in English. It's just some way of hearing English, just having it there. But again, remember, my friends, sometimes you must be active. Listen, repeat, whatever, okay? Because if you just learn actively, you won't learn as quickly. Again, just keep reading books and then go back to this read aloud. The last one is an interesting point. This is something I do now. in German. Because I'm in Russia, I don't know really any Germans here. I sometimes speak to some German friends online. It's not very often. So what can I do? I talk to myself. Now be very careful with this. If you're on a local train, it's probably not a good idea to speak aloud to yourself, otherwise people will think that you have a problem. Maybe, you know, speak quietly to yourself. I sometimes do this when I'm in a shop. I'll like go into the shop and say in German, oh, I need to buy some bread, I need some eggs, and then what am I going to do after this? Maybe I'll go home. And I do this in German just to kind of keep myself active, okay? Again, maybe I'm not learning anything here, but I'm keeping it active. I'm trying to maintain my level of German. To be honest, if I really want to practice again, I need a German native speaker to help me. Okay, so you know, when you talk to yourself, it's a fantastic way. When you're doing grammar exercises, as I said in my weekly video, you know, when you complete the sentence, read it aloud, make your own examples. That way you're being active to really bring that language out, and you'll just start using it more. Similarly, if you're cooking, do it to speak to yourself in English. You know, if you're going to cook something, get a recipe book in English, read it aloud in English. It's the next best thing you can do. So I think, my friends, you understand that we have a few good ways here. Number one, if you can find a native speaker, congratulations. If you can find a native speaker who is a professional teacher, mega congratulations, but of course you'll pay for it. If you can't find a native speaker, find a non-native speaker, traveling online, Facebook, everything, okay? Find those chances, find those people, and I'm sure you will find them. And if you can't find somebody to speak to, do this, okay? That's enough. Again, my friends, you'll understand from all the points I have described that all of these, plus the previous ones, it involves being active. You have to make yourself speak and practice English. Say passive, you will learn English, but very, very slowly. Okay, so throw yourself into the situation, be confident, don't be scared of making mistakes, and soon, my friends, when my website is up and running, because it's being created at the moment, it's just taking a bit of a time, when it's up and running, you will have the opportunity to speak with me, and I look forward to speaking to each and every one of you to make your English absolutely beautiful and stunning. Okay, my friends, if you have any questions, please leave some comments below, subscribe to my channel, give a thumbs up, and well, have a fantastic weekend. See you later. Bye-bye.